6 months ago, 3 graduates made the stupid decision to start a company together.
2, 1.
And, well, I'm one of them. I never expected this journey to lead us to pitching at events or cold calling law firms.
Good afternoon.
Hi, and I definitely didn't expect to be sat down in a coffee shop about to demo the software we built to the head of a law firm. The story really begins 2 years ago when all 3 of us were studying computer science at the University of Bath.
What are you doing?
And at Bath, most students apply to do an industrial placement job for 12 months between their second year and their final year. And this is a way to get some work experience before you graduate. And so after our second year was up, me, Joel and Lewis all went off to our placement jobs, doing all the normal stuff and working 9 to 5. There was nothing inherently wrong with the jobs, but you don't really get to code what you're passionate about at a big company. And that makes sense, right? A big company doesn't want its employees running around coding random things. They want structure, but we didn't. At the end of the year, when our jobs finished, we went traveling together. And we talked about doing it ourselves, starting our own company and declining the grad offers. But when we looked into it, there were just warning signs at every corner. It was a crazy idea, and we didn't even have an idea. On top of that, when we began watching the Y Combinator lectures on how to build a startup, the first lecture is literally a public announcement from Sam Altman putting people off trying to start a business.
Because you should never start a startup just for the sake of doing so.
And, well, it did. It was too risky, and we were better off just getting on the job ladder as early as possible. And so I began applying to other grad jobs and just focused on finishing and enjoying our final year of university.
Something funny. Cut.
Then, in our last semester, we took a unit called Entrepreneurship. See, we picked our units back when we were traveling, and this choice was a remnant of that time. We had thought about switching units, but to be totally honest, we'd heard that the unit wasn't too difficult, and it was also a group coursework, so we could all do it together. How awesome is that? But what we didn't expect was it to pull us straight back on the startup hype train. I can safely say that that unit was the best one I took at Bath. For it, you had to create a fake business with a 10-page business strategy plan and a 1-minute advert of your product. And as soon as we started, it didn't feel like work at all. And it was the first time I felt maybe starting a company wasn't impossible and maybe we should just go for it. And it was also the point where we declined our grad roles. We decided that instead of moving to London next year, we'd move back home and work on building a company full-time over the summer. It's definitely also worth mentioning that we're incredibly fortunate to be able to do this, and it's definitely not possible for everyone. Like before, we didn't have an idea, but this time it didn't seem insurmountable. And we just tried to talk to as many people as possible in as many industries as possible. And one of the first ones we really looked into was... If you've seen our second video, you'll have a good idea of what this entailed. But basically, 90% of climbing gyms use software that looks like this. It's called Rock Gym Pro, and it was built for Windows 95 and hasn't had a UI update since. We thought about making a more user-friendly version of this. But after emailing 200 climbing gyms and speaking with about 12, we realized that going after management software, which does so many different things, was biting off more than we could chew and would probably take us years to build. Luckily, we hadn't burnt too much time on it. And after that, to get back in the building spirit, we entered the Anthropic Claude hackathon and built a tool where you could chain together different AI models. However, unfortunately, the submission date was also the day that England played Spain in the Euros finals. And, well, let's just say 1 pint turned into 2 pints, turned into more pints. We didn't end up submitting. And we also lost the Euros finals. But what we did get was more motivation that we could build stuff quickly, and what we really needed was a problem to solve. So we kept on looking for industries, and that's when we fell into... We had talked to people in the industry, and they kept bringing up how behind the times most of the software was. And so again, like with climbing, we began reaching out to lawyers in London, which turns out is quite a bit harder than reaching out to climbing gyms. Who could see that come? It was also around this time that Joel stumbled across a legal event in London, and he signed up our sorry asses to pitch in it. Oh, and it was 1 week away. We spent that week talking to any lawyer we could get our hands on, and by the end of it, we came up with an idea, a demo video, and a fake landing page for the pitch. And then, looking like Tweedledee and Tweedledum, we pitched the idea in front of a room full of lawyers.
So hi everyone, I'm Joel and this is Jake.
In all honesty, the idea wasn't great, but we met a ton of really interesting people, and we also met a ton more lawyers that we could speak to. And it gave us motivation to keep going with the new idea we had, to make an AI contract negotiation co-pilot for lawyers. For the first time we started, we really had conviction in this idea. When we pitched it to lawyers, they really wanted a product like it.
Let's go.
But they also wanted something else. and that was for it to be an add-in inside Microsoft Word. It became pretty apparent that building legal tech that reviewed contracts outside Word would be like trying to convince a football team to leave their stadium to come play in your backyard. Basically, it was really important that our software was a Word add-in and not just a standalone tool. And all we had to do for this was to get on the Microsoft Store. And so we started reaching out to all the lawyers we knew, as well as cold emailing a bunch of law firms in London, trying to set up a meeting where we could pitch the product in. And after about a week, we managed to schedule a meeting the following month to demo our product in front of the head of a law firm in London. We also sent off our application to Microsoft to be approved for the store. And that would take 3 to 5 days to get back, so we had plenty of time. And then 5 days pass and nothing from Microsoft. But, I guess they're just busy. They're a big company. So I sent an email just to ask them what was going on. And then the next day I got back an email. We'd been rejected. And under the reasons section, they just listed the entire submission instructions again. So we had no idea what we had done wrong. But it was fine. Maybe this file isn't to be that file. So I tweaked the submission a bit and applied again. Another 5 days went by and again, nothing. So I sent an email and I also opened a support ticket to see what was going on. I woke up to another rejection. And again, they just put the entire submission instructions in the reasoning and didn't say anything about which section we did wrong. It was getting ridiculous, and so I tried for a third time. The meeting with the law firm was now getting closer, and it was really beginning to stress me out. This time, it only took 3 days, but the email back was a little different. What the f? Hey guys, I really don't want to film this right now. We basically just got an email from Microsoft saying that our account is been rejected and that they're not pursuing it any further. And I don't know what to do. Don't even have a business without a Microsoft partner account. We can't publish and they add in. It's just crazy that one thing like this can derail the whole thing, and I don't even know where we go from here. It wouldn't let me submit anything on the website, but the support ticket I had was still open. So I crawled through the instructions one more time and decided just to email all the documents I thought they might need to the support ticket. We basically had no other option. And then out of nowhere, 2 days later, we got this email. I have no idea what I did differently on the last run, but we can now put the software on the store. But that was just the first hurdle. We were now just 2 weeks away from having to demo the product in front of the law firm owner. But after locking in for a week, we made up on lost time and managed to get the first version of Blueside up on the store. And then a few days later, me and Joel got ready to go to London and meet the head of a law firm. Everything we had done up until this moment basically rested on the fact that a real lawyer would see a real working version of the product and actually think it was useful to them.
This is when you got fucking locked in, alright?
This is the POV, sir. This is the POV. Mate, I am so nervous, like my hand is shaking.
Straight away in the meeting, I could tell we found the right person. He was a young guy who'd founded his own firm and wanted to bring in more AI. And when we showed him our product, my nerves went away. He loved it, and he had a bunch of ideas of where the product could go. We knew this was just an early version of the software, so we offered him a free trial to get real feedback on the product, and he accepted. We then spent the next few days setting up accounts for everyone in their firm, and then a few days after that, our software was being used by real lawyers doing real work. That still feels insane to say. And we still had some hiccups. On the first day we went down, but we got through it. And there's still a long way to go. But looking back on it, I feel so proud of what me and the lads have achieved. And the support on this channel and the comments we get on it have made all the lows so much easier. And that's it up until now. Happy New Year, Looking for Workers. 2025 is gonna be a good one. That's all on today's show. Smash like and subscribe. Lulu, come on, man.